On Saturday, we walked through the 5 angles of mastery, but today we're going to make it practical with Execution Tuesday. Instead of just listing them, I'll carry 2 examples all the way through. I'll use a personal example of a habit that you can develop, and then I'll use a business example. As far as the personal example, let's start with daily exercise. Verbal. A daily exercise habit means consistently moving your body each day, right? So that's whether you're lifting, walking, or stretching. And you want to do that to build health, strength, and energy, for example. If you can explain it simply to a friend without jargon like hypertrophy or VO2 max, you're already working the verbal angle. Literal. Write it down. Now let's capture that in writing. So we want to write it down with something like this. My goal is to exercise for at least 30 minutes every day, focusing on building strength, endurance, and mobility over time. Writing makes it concrete, so it's not just an idea in your head anymore. It's actually a commitment that you can revisit, track, and revise. Mathematical, putting numbers to it. Habits grow strong when they're measurable. For example, you set a target of 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week, and that's 210 minutes per week, or 10,920 minutes every year. Now the habit is not abstract, it's actually quantified, and the numbers that you see, the numbers allow you to see your progress and see where you're falling short. Draw a simple calendar with 30-minute workout blocks, and as you complete each day, check them off. This visual gives you a feedback loop, and over time you see streaks starting to form and gaps appearing and the momentum building as well. And that picture reinforces the behavior. 5, tactical. Finally, can you do it? Not just talk about it, not plan it. Actually show up and move your body for 30 minutes every single day like you committed to. The tactical angle is the proving ground, and that's where theory becomes reality, because by physically demonstrating the habit, you transform knowledge into a lifestyle. And here's where it all comes together, right? When it comes to this personal example. When you've worked the verbal, the literal, the mathematical, the visual, and the tactical, all 5 angles, you've done more than just talk about daily exercise. You've actually mastered it. Because mastery isn't only about knowing why something matters. It's also about being able to explain it, commit to it, measure it, visualize it, and live it out. Now let's start with a business example, right? So we're going to start with what we call process bottleneck. Verbal. A bottleneck is the step in a process that slows everything else down. Imagine a busy restaurant where only one chef can plate the meals. Orders pile up, not because cooking is slow, but because they can't plate the food fast enough. If you can explain the bottleneck this clearly to someone who's never studied operations, you're working the verbal angle. Literal, write it down. Okay, now, bottleneck. Put it in writing. Let's write the definition. A bottleneck occurs when one part of a process limits the output of the entire system. It creates delays, builds up work in progress, and reduces efficiency. Boom, we got it written down. And by writing, you remove the fuzzy understanding and replace that with precise articulation. Mathematical, put in the numbers. Hey, look, let's say your process can handle 100 units an hour, but the bottleneck step only handles 60. No matter how efficient the rest of the process is, the output is capped at 60, right? Numbers make the bottleneck measurable, and without math, it's just an idea. But with math, it's a reality you can test and you can fix. Visual, sketch it out. All right, now, you can grab a pen and paper. Draw 5 boxes for process steps. 4 of them have arrows showing 100 units per hour, and the one in the middle, well, it's labeled 60 units per hour. So you instantly see where the flow is constricted, right? And that's the power of the visual angle. Now, take it into action. Run a small simulation. Maybe your team had a whiteboard or a simple spreadsheet. Show what happened when 100 units try to pass through a step that can only handle 60, right? Watch the backlog start to form, and then demonstrate the impact of improving that bottleneck from 60 to 80, for example. And then suddenly you see the output rise across the whole entire system. And by doing that, you're not just talking about it, you're cementing the learning. So here's your Execution Tuesday challenge. Pick one concept you're learning right now. Don't just read about it. Run it through the 5 angles. Explain it, write it, quantify it, draw it, and demonstrate it. If you could do all 5, you cross the line from knowing into mastery. Hey, look, this has been an Execution Tuesday. On Execution Tuesday, that's where we show you the how. On Strategy Saturday, that's where we show you the why. Strategy, execution, we bring them both together. That's how we make it happen. Until next time, take care.